Clapperboard EP1, English. New Year Special. Cast out for bearing no son, her fate. Changes in the mountains. The knife-like winds of the first lunar month cut through the skin. The place where Myong's son collapsed lay deep in the mountains, before a cave in a ravine known as the Valley of the Restless Spirits. A place no human should have lived. Just before losing consciousness, on the frozen snow, she felt rough yet strangely warm hands lifting her body. When she awoke, the sharp scent of medicinal herbs and the damp smell of earth filled her senses. Around a faint campfire sat 5 or 6 women. Their faces bore the marks of hardship, yet a spark still burned in their eyes. They all shared the same fate. Women cast out for failing to bear sons. Women who fled after enduring violence and infidelity. Women abandoned by the world, living restless spirits. The eldest among them, an old woman called Helmi, moistened Myong's son's lips with bitter herbal liquid and spoke firmly. "Child, do not die here. If you die now, you will remain nothing more than a ghost who died for failing to bear a son. But if you live, you can still rewrite your destiny." In a weak voice, Myong's son asked, "They call me barren land, a cursed soil where no seed can sprout. What value does my life have?" Helmi's eyes flashed. She gripped Myong's son's hand and said sharply, "For generations, women have been called nothing but fields. But listen well. No matter how fertile the land, if rotten seed is planted, nothing will grow. This is not your fault. Your husband's seed was weak. Why is only the land blamed? If you plant beans, you harvest beans. Why must you carry the shame of a man who failed?" Those words struck Myong's son like lightning. For the first time, she realized that the pain she had carried as her own sin was nothing more than chains forged by an ignorant world. From that day on, she remained in the cave. She learned the wisdom of wild herbs, the secrets of a woman's body, and the harmony of yin and yang. She came to understand that life is not created by a woman alone, but through the union of both parents in body and spirit. Years later, rumors rose from the village. The young concubine who replaced Myong's son had conceived 3 times, yet bore only daughters or suffered miscarriages. Madame Park now called her impure, turning the household into a hell of rituals and wailing. The women of the cave whispered, "Karma has returned." But Myong's son felt sorrow, not triumph. She saw clearly how obsession with lineage drove innocent women into endless suffering. She stood. "I will go down the mountain. I will not die as a hidden, resentful ghost. I will tell the world that a woman's body is not a sin, that the diseased hearts are those who treat life as a tool." At the foot of the mountain, she opened a small herbal clinic. There was no sign, yet word spread like the wind. Women shamed for childlessness, wives broken by betrayal, widows suffering in silence, came one by one. Before medicine, they heard these words, "This is not your fault." The clinic became a sanctuary. People began to call her the Moonshadow Healer. Once a cast-out daughter-in-law, Myong's son was now becoming a great current, blending her sorrow into the scent of herbs, and slowly healing the world itself. Clapperboard EP.2, English, The Spirits of the Mountain. And the awakening, I didn't know the seeds were rotten. Fleeing from the razor-sharp winds of the Lunar New Year, Myong's son collapsed deep in the mountains. The place was called the Valley of Lost Spirits, a land so desolate that no living soul was meant to survive there. As her consciousness faded, she felt rough hands lifting her from the frozen ground. When she awoke, the sharp scent of wild herbs filled her lungs. Around a small fire sat several women. Their bodies were thin, but their eyes were alive. They were all like her. Women cast out for bearing no sons. Women beaten, abandoned, erased. Spirits the world had thrown away. An old woman, the eldest among them, pressed bitter herbal water to Myeong-sun's lips. "Child," she said, "you must not die like this. If you die here, you'll only become another ghost who failed to bear a son. But if you live, you become a new fate." With a dry voice, Myeong-sun whispered, "They call me barren land. A field cursed to never bear life. What can someone like me live for?" The old woman's eyes flashed. "You foolish child. Women have been called fields for generations. But listen carefully. Even the richest land cannot bear fruit if rotten seeds are planted. This is not your sin. It is the seed that was weak. Why should the field bear all the blame?" Those words struck Myeong-sun like lightning. For the first time, she realized the truth. Her suffering was not her guilt. It was the ignorance of the world. From that day on, she stayed in the cave. She learned the power of wild herbs, the wisdom of the female body, the balance of life. And she understood, a child is never born by a woman alone. Life requires harmony, not blame. Years later, a rumor reached the mountains. The concubine who replaced her had conceived 3 times and lost them all. The house that cast her out had become a place of curses and screams. The women laughed bitterly. Karma has come. But Myeong-sun stood up. "I will no longer live as a hidden ghost. I will go down to the world and open their eyes. The female body is not a sin. The sickness lies in hearts that treat life as a tool." At the foot of the mountain, she opened a small herbal clinic. No sign, no name, but women came. Broken women, blamed women. She didn't only give medicine, she gave them truth. "This is not your fault." And so, the woman once cast away became a light in the shadows. Backhand index pointing right. The story continues.
EP3 English New Year's Special. A fateful reunion and a great victory. The reputation of the Mountain Herb Clinic, founded by Myeong-sun, grew stronger with each passing day. Soon, even the magistrate's wife stood in line to see her. People called her the shaman of the mountain, the woman physician who brings life back from death. She didn't just heal bodies, she healed the grief and resentment women had carried in silence for years. One day, a familiar face appeared at her door, a former maid from her old household. Not knowing who Myeong-sun truly was, she begged in desperation, "Doctor, please save my mistress. The family line is about to end. She's been in labor for 3 days. The baby won't come, and the mother is dying." Myeong-sun closed her eyes. The memory returned. The gate that cast her out into a snowstorm. The voice that called her. A barren field. Was this revenge? Or fate's judgment? She stood up. "I'll go. I must see their fate with my own eyes." 10 years later, she stood before her former home. Still tall, still proud. But now filled only with screams of despair. Inside were her former husband, trembling, and her mother-in-law, Madam Park, collapsed on the floor. "Doctor, please save my grandchild," Madam Park cried. But when Myeong-sun revealed her face, silence fell like ice. You, Madam Park gasped. Myeong-sun said nothing. She entered the birthing room, checked the pulse, placed the needles, and restored the flow of life. Hours later, a cry filled the room. Not a son, but a baby girl. Madam Park screamed, "Our family is finished." Then Myeong-sun's voice rang out. 10 years ago, you said, "If you plant beans, beans will grow." Hear me now. The seed of this family was already dead. No sons were born. Not because the women were barren, but because your son corrupted the seed. And your heart never honored life. Her former husband lowered his head. Madam Park could not speak. My Ong-sun placed a blank paper at their feet. I am no longer the discarded daughter-in-law of this house. I am my Ong-sun, a physician who saves women's lives. She walked out without looking back. Outside, the women of the mountain waited, smiling. Under the red sunset, she said, for thousands of years, women's sorrow became tears. Today, we carve our own road. This path is history.